this is how we constructed the month. Week one really is going to be to start to kind of hone attention around presence. What does that mean? It means to be aware, as moment to moment, how we're feeling, what we're thinking, how we're interacting in the world around us. And we know that if we can cultivate that self-awareness on the front end of this program, that's a solid foundation for us to kind of move through the rest of the month. So once we have some of that self-awareness, and we have a sense of what we feel and how we feel, now we're going to look a little bit more at the connection. Where do we feel this? And is this a place that we want to be? Are we taking a deeper dive into some places within ourselves? Are we opening up to the people around us? As a culture, if we're working with a team, are we starting to kind of play that yes and with one another? And so we're kind of building on that presence in week two around connection. And then week three, it's around choice. We have a choice as to how we want to respond. We have a choice of which thoughts that we want to actually grab onto. We have a choice on how we want to act in the world and the habits that we want to build. So we want to create a little more autonomy. Once we have that, we're a little bit more grounded in our self-awareness. We know a little bit more about how that feels. And now we want to kind of be the author to be able to make some decisions for ourselves, hopefully in the direction where we're moving towards some of the behaviors and the habits that we've set for ourselves that are aligned with our values. And then the final week is around growth. And growth is, the growth on the surface sounds like kind of an easy one where, okay, I'm leveling up, or I'm gaining new knowledge. Growth is not necessarily always the easiest thing to do. By nature, we're kind of tearing and ripping and building and growing. And so we want, by week four, we've cultivated the conditions, and we've put ourselves and we've put our nervous systems, and we've started to habituate some of these small practices so that when we reach our edges, we can stay there and we can be a little more curious about what that feels like and perhaps push out a little bit more. And so that's sort of the cycle of the month. And then, finally, we'll do some reflection in the final week after the 4 weeks, where we not only will we reflect, but we'll also be doling out some awards. So as Jeff mentioned, there's a gamification to this program as well, which I think will help with some accountability. There's some competitive people in this program, I know, and there's also it just kind of makes it more fun. So as we look back on the month during that plus week, we'll be able to reflect on how it went, what worked well, where do we still want to push, and what are some of the things that we don't need to hold on to anymore. That also is a really important part of all of this. If we're going to make this climb in life, we don't want to be kind of holding on to all the heavy baggage that's held us back.